So I'm here today to talk to you about how to customize Gmail, especially in the new look, the options that you may or may not know about. If you are a newer user of Gmail, then this information should be really helpful. If you're an advanced user, some of it might be a little bit basic, but I'm hoping that everybody can learn something. So I see I have somebody who just joined the Hangout here. I think was that a Mike that I saw? Hi, Mike. I think you're still...
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, let's try again.
Cool, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking about how you control the information that you can see in the Gmail interface. So I'm going to go ahead and share a screen so I can show you what I'm doing. All right. So this is just a random test account that I subscribed to some newsletters so I can show you around a little bit. So the first thing I want to call out for Gmail is we have something called a density setting, display density, where you can choose how much space you want between the messages in your inbox. Right now this is set on comfortable. I can switch it to cozy and it gets a little bit tighter. And I can switch it to compact and it's even more tight. So that controls how much information you can see on one screen as you're looking at Gmail. Personally, I really like cozy, so I'm going to set it back to cozy for now. Another thing I want to call out is right now I can see 50 messages at a time. I can tell right here in the corner. If I wanted to, I could click on this to get to the oldest messages or the newest. I can click these arrows to go back and forth. But let's say that I want to see more or fewer messages. What you would do is you go into your settings. And then from settings, right here at the top, it says maximum page size. And you can choose between 10 and 100 conversations to show per page. While I'm here, too, in settings, there's one more thing I want to point out at the moment, which is the indicators, personal indicators. They're down here towards the bottom. You see personal level indicators, no indicators, or show indicators. What this does is it adds a little arrow if messages were sent directly to you, and a double arrow if they were only sent to you. So that can help you find more quickly at a glance as you look at your inbox which are the messages that maybe were on a list versus somebody might directly want a response from you. Mike, I think you're the only one in here at the moment, but do you have any questions about? I'm
trying to keep up. No, no. The reason I'm really interested, Sarah, is because I've done some work with somebody who's got like, oh goodness me, I don't know, 800,000 followers. So I've done a load of work to get. This is in the TV world. So therefore, using labels and filters to try and get to a level where we can shovel all of the Google Plus alerts into the Gmail box and then make it a lovely colourful environment and make it work. And that's followed from, I know Natalie Villalobos did a filter which was, I think, Google and Google Plus, but that was just the one, and I've made about 8 or 9 of the things. And then trying to explain to somebody who's not sure, whether it bypasses the inbox, why is it disappeared, but it hasn't disappeared, and all these things, so that's why I'm here really.
Well, that's actually a great transition. Maybe I can go and start talking about labels and filters, and then maybe if you have any tips from that experience, I'd love if you could share them here too.
Well, I've already learned personal level indicators. I didn't know about that one, and I'll jump in if I think the video at the last couple of seconds there was really crisp, but initially it was really blurry. But that could be just my level. No, that's okay because I know it's a few seconds to keep up, isn't it? But it can.
Well, call out if there's a.
You've thrown some invites out, have you, to people? Because I can't believe I'm the only one in here.
Great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and flip back now to the inbox.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah, so if anybody's not familiar with what Mike was talking about, you can set up filters based on search. So it looks like I have a lot of Groupon mail in this account for whatever reason. So let's say I go and do search here. And I have a button at the bottom to create a filter with this search. So right now this is based on has the words Groupon. I could also say I only want messages that are from Groupon or messages that are to a certain mailing list or within a certain like a subject line if you have like those lists that have a phrase always all the time. Whatever criteria you set, then you go ahead and click create a filter with this search. And what Gmail will do is pop up some options that you have. And Mike was specifically talking about putting things into labels and taking them out of the inbox. So what you would do is apply a label, and you can choose right here, let's call this a Groupon label. And I'm also going to tick the box to skip the inbox, which is also archive. Some people get a little confused about what archive means. It is not like a special repository where you put all of your messages to back them up. We take care of making sure your data is safe regardless. You don't have to proactively go and say you want us to do that. What the archive means is to basically remove it from the inbox label. There's a whole other longer discussion on labels and folders in Gmail and what that really means. I think unless somebody watching has a question about that, I'm not going to go into that in detail right now, but basically if you archive something, all it does is take it out of the inbox, and then it's still in your account, and you can still have that in a folder, or you can just have it in general in your all mail. At the time that you create the filter, you can also tick a box at the bottom to apply it to existing conversations, which is really helpful for just getting some stuff out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and create that filter and get rid of the Groupon messages. Now, what this is going to is the labels that you can see right here in the left side of my navigation. So a couple things I want to call out about the left nav. First, you'll notice that when I hovered over it, it expanded like an accordion. But let's say that I want to be able to see more things before it expands. I can grab this little line between chat and the labels, and I can drag it up and down if I want chat to take up more or less room by default. So I just dragged it down so that I can see more labels without hovering over. But again, if I decide I want to see my chat list instead, I can drag it the whole way up to the top, and I can see my chat list, and all I have to do is hover, and then I get to see everything expanded. I also want to point out there's a lot of labels right here, and we did a tip earlier this week on how you can kind of clean this up. There are a couple ways to do it. One thing you can do is click on the drop-down on the right of the label, and if you haven't assigned a color, you might not see it because it's white, but if you hover over the hover over the label name, it'll appear, and there's just this little arrow, and you click on it. And from here, you can choose what you want to do with that label. So let's say that we're taking the example that Mike had, where you're automatically putting new messages via a filter into a label. You can say show if unread. And that means that if you've read all the messages in that label, it's not going to appear in your label list by default. But it will pop back up if a new message comes in that gets put into that label. Alternatively, if you just want to choose when to go and see those labels, you can click hide. So I'm going to click hide on this label. And now when I hover over, you'll see it's not in this initial list of labels anymore. But if I click the More button at the bottom, then I get to see all the labels that I've hidden as well. And so I can still get to it in 2 clicks, but it's not cluttering up the whole section. If you want to do this all at once, you can go into the Gear menu and click on Settings. And then on Settings, you just go to the Labels tab right at the top. And you can see all of the labels in your account, including the default display. I'm going to just, somebody just popped in, he's a little loud, so I think it's going to be, so I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Okay. Oh, that didn't work. Ah, perfect.
Okay,
okay, so, sorry, I'm trying to get back to my screen. So, for example, let's say that you never, ever, ever need to look at your starred label, ever. So right here in your settings, you can click hide. And now starred, actually let me expand this again so you can see what I'm doing. So now starred is not listed at the top anymore. Or likewise, let's say that you never care about seeing important. You just click hide, and now important is gone as well. But let's say chats are really important to you, so you can click show, and now the chats link comes back in the left navigation. So you can do the same thing for all of the labels that you created yourself. Let's say that I have this nested label, and I'll talk about that in a second too. And I don't want to see any of those, so I can go ahead and click hide, or I can click show if unread if there are some messages, if I have messages being filtered into those labels and I want to see when there are new ones. As far as nested labels, that's another way to just organize your labels into little groupings. You can click the arrow on those to expand and collapse them. And the way that you would do that is you can add a sublabel from the menu on the right, or when you create a new label, you can choose to nest it under an existing label. So let me stop the screen share for a second and ask if you guys have any questions so far about labels that we were just talking about. Oh, I think I see Kim talking, but Kim, you're muted.
It might help if I unmute. All right. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
I wanted to ask a question about Gmail in regards to the labels. You know how you're in a label and you want to get to the very end? The option to go to the very end is not there anymore for labels.
Let me open one of these labels. Let me go back to screen share.
Unless I'm missing something.
Okay, so let me open one of these really long labels that has lots of messages. So if you want to go back one page at a time, you can click the arrow at the top. Can you guys see the screen share, or is it blurry?
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah.
See it.
Great. So I can go back one page if I want with this. If I want to jump the whole way to the end, you just hover over the counter for the messages, and then you can jump to oldest directly from there. Or let's say you actually want to go back to the beginning, you can hover over it again and jump to newest, just like that. Does that make sense?
So we go one page over and then hover?
You don't have to go. You don't have to go one page over. You can go straight from the beginning. So let me reopen. I'll open a different label here. So all you have to do is hover where it says 1 to. I have mine set on 50. So 1 to 50 of, and then the total number, and a little box will pop up that says newest and oldest, and you can just click on oldest to go straight to the end.
Get out of here. Thank you. I have labels that have a lot, I mean thousands of emails, and I always...
Oh, I think, did Kim freeze or did I freeze?
You.
I lost you.
And oldest.
She's in Singapore, so she might take it in a hotel room probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
It's lagging a little bit, Kim.
I was saying that I have this thing where I like to clean up my labels, and I couldn't find how to get to the oldest. And thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, all you have to do is hover over, and it should appear. By the way, I'm trying to. It's a little hard for me to talk and also demo and also keep track of comments. So if anybody sees a comment or chat from somebody else that has a question, feel free to bubble them in.
Could I just ask about the difference between regular labels and nested labels, and whether they show for example, the labels that I've been using, if it was like apples, pears, and bananas, then the individual message would show with 3 labels. But if it was a nested, like fruit and then apples and pears, would that show differently?
Yeah, it's a hierarchy. So you would have fruit, and then underneath that you would have apples, pears, bananas. And so if you put a message in pairs, it would have the pears label.
And what about in the inbox? How would it show? Would it still show as, like, say, 4 labels in a long line?
So let me get an example to show you. So I'm just going to label something real fast so that I can.
Because I'm particularly thinking of Google Plus, where it's like mentions you, mentions at a certain. Yeah, you get the idea, don't you?
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and screen share. Hold on. Okay. So I'm just going to take this top message here, and I'm going to apply. Let's say I want to apply the anthropology label, which is one of my nested labels. And you can see right here in the label menu that it shows me the parent, and then slash, and then the child label right there.
Yeah.
So when you apply it, that's the way that it shows here as well. So in your label list, you'll see, so in your example, you would see fruits / pears.
Right, because it's a nested block, isn't it? Yeah, so it's one color block, rectangle.
Oh, and as far as the, yeah, so I'll go ahead and change the color too on this one, which actually starts to bring me to my next topic, which is controlling how the interface looks aesthetically. But let's go ahead and I'll make that orange for the moment. So it'll display the color of the child topic. I'm sorry, the child label, not the parent label. Okay. Any other quick questions? Yeah.
Hi. I have a kind of like a suggestion, a minor pet peeve of mine. When you go and create a label, you don't have the option to color code it. You have to create it and then go and color code it. It would have been great if we could have that feature.
Sure. So I'll go ahead and pass that feedback along to the team. And just while we're there, let's go ahead and talk really fast about color coding. So let me pop this back up. So you can see I assigned colors to the labels in this account, and when you click on the drop-down, you have this option right here at the top to choose your label color. One thing that's kind of fun, if there's a particular thing you're trying to match, like let's say you want to match the colors of a website where you're getting the emails from, you can add a custom color, and you can choose the background and the foreground of that color. So let's say for some reason I want a red label with a light blue text on it. I can go ahead and do that as well. Speaking of colors, I think that's also a great segue into themes. So for themes, you can either get to them from the main settings menu, or you can click directly into themes from the gear icon. So I'm going to go ahead and pop over into themes. So the default theme is the light theme. That's the one that we've been looking at here. But there are a bunch of different options of themes that you can use. So there's a bunch of straightforward color themes. I like the blue one a lot, although sometimes it has to reload when you select a new theme, so we might have a couple moments to pause for loading. I just like the way that it frames the messages with the blue, but you can see all the different color options here.
Is the light theme the Google Plus one? Because it was updated, wasn't it? Was that where they defaulted it?
The light theme is consistent with the colors and styles of other Google products.
Because there was one that was right near the bottom, wasn't there? Which was it under Classic? Can't remember now.
Let me keep coming down the list here. One thing I want to mention about the colored themes is you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner there's a little triangle that is either white or black, and what that means is what the color of the overlay is. So on the light theme and the blue theme that I'm using right now, we had a light overlay, but I'll pick eggplant here just to show you what this looks like. And after it loads, what you'll see is that the message list, here, let me go back here. So you can see even hovering over on the left, there's now a black highlight. And same thing here in the message list, there's a black background for my messages and for my buttons. Not black, I guess dark gray. So going back to the themes, the HD themes are the really pretty, at least I think some of them are really pretty, like pictures and images. And something else I want to call out here, some of them are static. So if you pick wood or desk, it's just a static picture. And again, you can see the light and dark overlay. Some of them have a series of pictures that changes, usually I think daily. So if say I pick beach, I have this image right now, which is, let's see if I can scroll down so you can see more of it, a little bit more of it. So this is one beach shot, and then tomorrow it might be a different picture from the beach, and that'll change, so you can change it up. There are also ones that change by time of day. So let me go back to themes here. For example, this one, you see the little time indicator at the bottom. That means that it changes by the time of day. And then some of them also change based on your location. So getting into the classic themes, so these are some of the treasured themes from Gmail's older look. You can see, let's say we choose tree. I really like the tree theme. It will, depending on whether it's sunny outside or whether it's raining or cloudy, the top will change. So it looks like right now I have, and the way that it knows is based on the location that you set. So it looks like I put in the zip code for New Haven, Connecticut before. So you can do it by zip code, or you can do it by city. So right now I'm in Mountain View, so I'll put in Mountain View, California. You get the check mark, so I found it, click save. And it was pretty sunny when I came in. Yeah, so it's still sunny. But you can put in a location that you want. Let's say you live somewhere where it rains all the time and you want it to be sunny. You can also put in a location somewhere sunnier to get a little bit of sunshine in your inbox. But this will change dynamically based on the weather outside.
There's one more thing I want to show you as far as customizing what your interface looks like. So by default, when you want to take an action on a message, your toolbar has images on them that describe the action that button does. And you see these once you tick a message or once you open a message. If you don't have anything selected, they'll go away. If you really prefer text on your buttons, you can turn that on. So all you do is you go into your gear and then into your settings. And then from inside of settings, just look for the button labels option, and you can choose whether to have icons or text. So I'll go ahead and switch it to text. And now you'll see the images have turned into text descriptions of those buttons. Now let's say that you like the style of the images. Personally, I do. I've tried to use text, and now that I'm used to and love the images, it's difficult to go back. if you just want to know what the name of a button is, you just need to hover over it, and a little box will pop up telling you what the name of that button is.
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry, unless someone else has a question. I have one.
Go for it, Kim.
Themes. Do you have like a theme creation kit, or do you, or what do you think about the themes that are created by others outside of Google? Are they safe to use?
Yeah.
Any concerns there?
So at the moment for Gmail, you pick a theme that is in our theme library, the ones that I was just showing you, and right now there isn't a possibility to apply, within the Gmail UI, to apply themes created by other people. Now I do know that there are all kinds of scripts and extensions and things that might let you modify Gmail's appearance, and I can't really speak to the safety or functionality of any third-party scripts. We do update Gmail regularly, and sometimes those things break in an unexpected way. You know, for example, we might make a small change that we need to make with, like, say, like a button or something, and because the script isn't accounting for it, all of a sudden your inbox messages, you can't find them. So that's for third-party stuff. Now, in general, for themes, in the older, somebody's a little loud. I think it might be Scott. Scott, I'm going to mute you for now, but go ahead and unmute if you need to talk. All right, I think that went through. Yes, excellent. We do know there is a big feature request that users want to be able to make their own themes. So that is definitely something the team is aware of, and we're looking at, you know, a theme builder where you'd be able to choose a background image and then choose whether you want light or dark on top of it. That's not something that's ready, but it is something that, you know, we're looking at.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Yes.
When using Gmail with a Google Apps domain, is there a way to lock all the users into one theme?
Ooh, so now you're going to start to get slightly outside of my expertise because I mostly deal with consumer end users, but I think so. Don't hold me to that for sure. I do know that admins have a lot of options as far as what services they enable and disable. I know, for example, that you could say that your users can't use chat. I'm actually almost certain, I'm going to say I'm 90% sure that you can say that your users can't select their own theme themselves. The thing that I'm unsure about is whether you can say which theme you want all of your users to use. So that part I'm not sure about.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay. If you guys don't have other questions right now, I think I want to call out one other element that is just kind of fun to customize. So let me go ahead back to my screen share. So if you go into your settings, if you like to star things to keep track of them, we actually offer a bunch of different color options for stars as well as icon options. So, you know, let's say you only want to use a basic star, that's fine. You can click one star and you get this yellow star, that's the basic star. If you want a little bit more, you can click 4 stars for some default options. Maybe those aren't really the ones that you want. Maybe you would rather have purple instead of blue, so you just grab and drag. So you don't really use this checkbox, but maybe this, I think it's called a guillemette. The little chevron thing is really important so you know what things you have to reply to. So you can just drag them back and forth and pick which ones you want to be able to use. And then I'll show you in a second, but when you click on the star icon, you just keep clicking to rotate through. So you can also drag them back and forth to determine the order of them, depending on which one you want to come up first, you know, which one you think that you're going to use the most. So I'm going to go ahead and see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and click star on this email, and you can see immediately the first ones that I picked, and then we start to rotate through the list. And if let's say I'm not trying to rotate through, you know, I started a while ago, I want to unstar it, Gmail's smart enough to know and just let me unstar it. So you only rotate through at the time that you're selecting which one you want to use. Those are most of the things I actually wanted to talk about for basic customization. So I guess I'll open it up to any other questions you guys have or any tips that you guys have for basic customization that, you know, you think everybody could benefit from.
Can I just follow just on the, I was going to ask about the star. I use a star and then the question mark one, or one of the, you know, in other words, twos because it's too much clicking. But I think, can you show people the option where, if I've got it right, if you've got, say, 50 messages and 6 of those are starred, isn't it possible to view just the starred messages?
Yes, it is. Let me go back here again. Okay, so one thing is there's a default label for the starred messages. So I am screen sharing, right? Did that go through?
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Good.
So I think I hid it before when I was demoing hiding and showing labels. So, but if you click on starred, that'll show you everything that you have starred in your account. You can also type is starred into the search box. Actually, you can see it started to autocomplete for me here. So if you don't quite remember, we try to help you out.
Does starred equal everything? So if you've got, say, 5, labels or colors, then starred means all of them, doesn't it?
For the different superstars, yeah. So the state of being starred means, superstars is the old name for the different colors. The state of being starred means it has at least one. However, I think you can still do something like has yellow bang. And yeah, that'll only show you the ones that have that particular name of the star. So the way that you get the names of the stars, if you go into your settings again, if you hover over them, you'll see the text pops up. Did that pop up on the screen share where it says orange Guillemette?
No.
The pop-up doesn't appear.
Okay. Well, if you hover over them, it'll pop up and tell you what the name of it is. And they're pretty self-explanatory. You have red bang and yellow bang and blue info and green star and red star and orange star. But if you just hover over them, you'll see what their names are. And then all you have to do is type has and then the name of the star to find it.
Oh, that would make life so much easier. Thank you.
Yeah, really.
That reminds me of one other thing I meant to show you guys. If you're not already aware, inbox styles are also a really cool way to show the kinds of information that you want to see. So to get to your inbox style, let me click back to the inbox first so you can see what this is going to do. So if you click the drop-down, the same way you would customize one of your other labels, you can customize the inbox, but the options are different. So this is classic, which is your inbox. You can also say important first.
I love that one.
Yeah. So
that is my favorite one.
So yeah, it's pretty great. So I haven't put any training data into this account, so it doesn't know, but I'm going to mark some things as important just so you can see. So Gmail can detect the same way that our spam filters try to figure out what's not important to you. Gmail will try to identify what is important. It actually gets really smart if you train it by saying, correcting it when it's wrong. So this important will bubble up the messages that we think most need your attention. And so using the important first inbox puts important at top and then everything right below it, so it's still right there to see. There's a similar one called, you can do unread first or starred first, which does the same exact thing. Anything that meets that criteria, either because it's unread or because you starred it, will display at the top. But then let's say you want to mix and match. You can use the priority inbox to determine the criteria you want. So let's say I'm going to click on the right side. It says how many I want to do, and let's say that I want in inbox and also unread for my top one. And then let's say for the next one, I want in inbox and also important, which is actually what this is already set for. And then at the bottom, you have everything else. And you can choose, again, how many boxes you want to display, and you can collapse them when you're not looking at them. So.
Sarah, how does that translate over into the mobile version? Some of the things that you've been talking about.
Which mobile version?
Android, tablet.
So I have to admit I don't currently use a tablet, so I can't tell you for sure.
It's my heart. This is where your mobile team needs to be on here, huh?
I do have my Galaxy Nexus that I use. I'm pretty sure you can access important messages on those. And I remember it came up in our Hangout. You were in the mobile Hangout that we did before, and I know the team talked a little bit about making some of these options more available.
You've even got starred. I've got an old Nokia E71 here, and I've got starred and a drop down on that. Can you believe? Which is quite cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Like the oldest phone in the world, and it still works on it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Isn't the tablet version of Gmail the same as the Android version? Sort of like the phone version?
It's very similar. In Honeycomb, there's like a panel that's different.
See?
You have more screens.
Honeycomb. Okay.
But yeah, I know that the team is very aware of it. We know that right now it's not a direct match, that you can't at the moment do every single thing on your phone that you can do in the desktop version, but they know that, and they take it seriously to try to bring the important functionalities, make sure that they work similarly in both. So.
Got a lot of noise coming out of you, Kim.
Oh, sorry, what did you say?
I was talking to Kim. You got a lot of... Okay, stop moving around. Stop moving about.
So do you guys have any tips about basic customization? Because I'll have to make sure that the video recording came through okay, but I'll try to post this later. So if you guys have any tips, I'd love to share with the rest of the Gmail users.
The tip that I was, whether it's a tip, is I started to use Chrome for multi-switching of accounts and therefore Gmails, and I've added in the multiple inboxes into Gmail. So therefore, I just want to make sure I'm doing it right, because if you get an email from, I don't know, email box 2 or something, and you reply as email box 3, I just want to make sure I'm getting it right without giving away the wrong email. So in other words, it comes in, you go to compose, and then you do a drop down, and I can see 3 or 4 different emails, and then I just select one, and then I think I can choose my primary. But that's as far as the feature goes, isn't it? And therefore, any additional, am I right in saying I would make up a separate signature for every email? Is that right?
Let me show you real fast.
Yeah.
Let me go back again here. So I don't remember if I have anything set up here for this, but so what you're talking about is a send mail as address. So if you go into your settings and go into accounts, you can see send mail as, and you see the email address of your account, and then you can also add another email address that you own. When you do this, I've got two-step verification on, so I'm not going to be able to do this without generating a token.
No, that's okay.
So you have two options. You can either send through Gmail. Oh, sorry, did this window pop up? I just realized I was only sharing. I'm not sure. No. Okay, so you can't. Hold on. Let me reshare. The problem with there we go. Okay. That's better, I think.
Okay.
So when you set it up, you choose whether to send through Gmail or to choose through the other domain. And the advantage to sending through the other domain is that when you send through Gmail, for reasons to deal with spam filters, there's a long story behind this that I don't want to go into. We do include your Gmail address in the headers somewhere. The problem is there's two different interpretations of how that particular header is used, and so some email clients like Outlook will say on behalf of, and so what you'll see is from the address you chose to send through on behalf of your Gmail address, or vice versa. So if you want to make sure that your Gmail address doesn't show, then what you need to do is choose to send it through the SMTP servers of the other email account. And you can get those settings from the ISP if it's outside of Gmail. Then after you add it, let's see if it's going to let me, I've got to get the verification.
Because the bit I got confused was the alias, and I swapped. But you'll come to that, won't you?
Yeah, so the alias is, yeah, I admit that's a little confusing. Let me pop it.
Because I didn't take the default on that. I took the other version because I read it, and yeah, okay, I won't go there yet.
The alias, that's the difference between when you are sending for, like, say, like a mailing list versus when it is part of your identity. So there are cases where you might send mail as something that isn't necessarily you, and then there are cases where you personally have multiple email addresses, and you it's still you, and you're sending from all of those. And the reason that there's the difference is because there are some slight behaviors. For example, whether those messages should come back into your inbox. If you send a message to yourself, it makes sense for it to come back into your inbox as unread, right? So sending as alias setting just kind of controls some of the functionality as far as, or just the default behaviors as far as how that relationship should work. But anyway, what I was going to try to show you...
Yeah, I was going to... Sorry, could I just say it was that when an email comes in, and then isn't one of them that if you resend it as something else, whether it's the alias or not, whether it stays there as unread or whether it's regarded as read? Isn't that a thing?
No. So that I think that would start to get into some of the other like delegation. If you open something and read it, then it is read. So the alias doesn't have to do with read-unread state when you're replying. But I think something else you raised before, if I had been able to go through and grab the verification code and finish setting up, what you would see is the ability to choose one of those addresses as the default for all replies, and then you can also choose the option to reply to reply to messages using whichever email address that message was sent to. So if you are getting mail from multiple email addresses all sent to your Gmail account, you can say, like, if this message was sent to my school address, then always reply from my school address. If this message was sent to my work address, then always reply from my work address. And it'll automatically pick the right one to reply from.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
That makes sense.
Cool.
I have a tip to share.
Yeah.
I hope my background noise is gone. Whenever I want to order my labels differently from alphabetical, I use special characters in front of them, depending on the importance of the folder that I want to reorder. So I use mostly asterisks, and if I want something at the very top, I'll give it more asterisks in front of it. That way it's easier for me to quickly find it, because in alphabetical order, I sometimes can't find things unless they're right at the top.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I do something very similar, actually. I have a couple mailing lists that I filter into labels that are kind of more important than my other mailing lists. And what I do is I put brackets around the title of the label, and then it goes to the top of my list.
Well, see, that's pretty cool. Will we ever get a feature at we're actually able to reorganize those?
I can pass along that feature request. I know we've heard it before. I'm actually not sure on the status of that one. I haven't heard much about that one lately, actually, so I'm not sure. But I'll check in on that for you.
That's fair enough, because I'm a big fan of using my labels and whatnot, and sometimes some of my emails kind of get lost in the shuffle because the label is so far down on the list that unless I go into my Gmail account with a specific reason of looking at it, I will completely forget about it.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Maybe that's more my fault, but
that's one thing that's kind of cool about the hide and show if unread features.
Yeah.
If you set all of your labels to show if unread, then your label will only pop up when there's an unread message, which means that all of the labels that you don't necessarily need to look at immediately because they don't have a new message coming into them are in the More menu. So that frees up. So it's even then just not a matter of finding it in the list. It's just that the list is only the labels that you need to look at.
I have to turn that on. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, I'm going to try to make a recording of this available, but that was something that we talked about at the very beginning, and you can play with it if you don't want to wait for the recording, because it'll probably take
I was trying to say is, Deanna, if you'd showed up on time, you'd have known that. I got you.
No, I don't think I pre-announced this one, so you would have no way to know. But if you go to your settings and then go to labels, you can play with that option.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that.
Wouldn't the priority inbox do the same thing?
Sorry, do which thing?
Sorry, what's his name was talking about? Deanna. The emails that he wants to read are getting sort of like lost in the shuffle. If you had the priority inbox set up differently, or how he wanted, then if the emails that he wants to read would go to the top automatically. He wouldn't even have to look at his labels.
Yeah, that's
I do use my priority inbox, but it's like some things, it's like, they're not really important, so it's like I do push them off to the side and have them marked as read, just as because I want to collect them, because I want to have them all together, but they're not important enough to actually be clogging up my inbox. It's like my inbox is pretty much reserved for things that I need to respond to with some immediacy, or something that's really important that I need to know right now. It's like I don't like having a bunch of stuff there. That's why I like having the priority inbox, and I've been really working with that and training it so that it knows certain things, bam, it just gets bumped to the top right then and there.
That's I think there's another really good point in here, which I'm going to go ahead and screen share again for a second. But if you set up a filter, so here's one for just random, from test, you can choose to always mark it as important or never mark it as important. And that's another great way if there's a particular criteria on these messages, the ones that are actually important. You can use that option to make sure that they always go to your priority.
Make sure you click the bottom box of also apply to the other 500 emails as well, rather than just.
Yep.
I love the
I use that too.
The priority inbox on the mobile.
Yeah, I've been using that myself lately too, as I've been getting my priority inbox trained up even better.
Yeah, I use the filters
on the mobile.
too.
It actually alerts me when it comes in, when a message comes into it. Sorry about that. Am I talking over someone?
No, that's okay.
Or delayed.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
the label notifications in the mobile are really cool, like choosing what you want to be notified on and how. Yeah. Okay, I actually am going to wrap this up, but I want to thank you guys so much for coming and sharing your tips and asking your questions. And
can I ask one
sure,
question
one last
quickly? One totally not related, but using the Gmail search box, I've noticed that if you do a web search from within Gmail, it always forces search plus your world. Is that a feature that just is by accident or is purposeful?
So again, that is one that I'm not totally certain on. You're starting to get outside of my area of expertise.
Oh, right, okay. So I've just noted by accident, you know where you search, search within Gmail, and there's a drop down saying search Gmail or search the web. I found,
yeah.
I'm in the UK, but if I search the web from that, always, it will force search plus your world, where other Google search boxes don't always. So I thought I'd just mention it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm aware of Search Plus Your World, and I'm aware of the Search the Web feature in Gmail. I mean, the reason that we do Search Plus Your World is we think that it is the best way to get more relevant results to you. But I don't know specifically on when and where, or the correlation between that and the search from the, Search the Web feature in Gmail. You could try, if you want to create a post, and you could tag me and also Kelly Fee. I'll put her in the chat. She's the web search community manager, and between the two of us, we may be able to figure that one out.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right. Thank you guys again so much for joining, and I hopefully if it's recorded okay and if the quality's all right, I will go ahead and try to get this posted sometime early next week. So thanks again so much for participating.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you for having
Thanks,
us.
Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right.
Thank you, Sarah.
Have a
Bye.
good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.